HOA cop pulled a gun on my daughter. Didn't know her CIA mission had eyes on him. He called himself a cop, walked through our neighborhood with a gun, a fake badge, and an ego complex. But when he pulled the gun on my daughter, he signed his own warrant. Because what he didn't realize was that she wasn't just my child, she was CIA, and her mission already had eyes on him. I went to Sycamore Ridge for the peace, suburban quiet streets, trim fences, lakefront access. My daughter Leah needed a place to recover safely, though I couldn't reveal from what, not even to the neighbors. On paper, she was an overseas translator on furlough. Truthfully, she had just returned from a clandestine CIA retrieval op that went wrong. That's why we stayed under the radar. Until Officer Brent Carter arrived, he wasn't law enforcement like you imagine. Former deputy who now called himself the Community Enforcement Director for the HOA. Badge-shaped patch, surplus cruiser, mirrored shades. All show until it wasn't. The first time I met him, he snarled at me for unauthorized holiday illumination while brandishing a holstered sidearm. I didn't speak much, but Leah noticed something that I did not, a tattoo hidden partially under his sleeve. She stood, frozen when she saw it. Later in the evening, she whispered to me, "That person used to smuggle weapons for a cartel. I have seen his tattoo in a black site report in Kabul." My blood ran cold. Things started when Leah took my truck out to do errands. Our driveway was getting resealed and she drove temporarily down in front of the empty house beside us. Big mistake. Carter showed up in minutes. According to the video captured by Ring, he blocked her with his cruiser, came out of it, and pulled his gun before she even got out to open the door. He accused her of trespassing and resisting inspection. She was calm, her hands raised, soothingly explaining her name and address to him as if he were some different type of creature. He did not care. "You people don't obey rules," he snarled. "I don't care who your daddy is." And then he did something stupid. He pressed the gun against her windshield. That was when she smiled, because by that time her mission had been observing him. You see, what Carter didn't know was that Leah's last mission hadn't ended. It had just shifted to domestic. She was still committed. And her mark? A former American lawman suspected of laundering cartel funds through area HOAs. The HOA cop with the power trip and badge? He was a bully, but not just a bully, he was the mission. The moment Carter drew his gun, he sparked a cascade. 3 black SUVs that had been parked opposite the lake entrance began to roll. They weren't HOA board members, federal observers investigating Carter's suspected ties to cartel safe houses in the area. Leah wasn't merely taping the HOA, she was the bait. She had built the whole operation as a slow-motion sting, but was accumulating documentation of stolen HOA money, phony security contracts, and shell property corporations. Carter's work as enforcement officer was cover for ferrying illicit cash, disguised as HOA payments and bogus citations. A garage door crime here, a landscaping fine there, all swept clean through HOA accounts. But when he threatened to produce a weapon, Leah triggered the end protocol. Silent warning signal on her smartwatch warned her handler. A helicopter 15 minutes later. The Federals came in unmarked vests, took over Carter's cruiser, and slammed him onto my lawn while the other half of the development stood through blinds. The HOA president came running, yelling about property rights and jurisdiction. She was cuffed too. Turns out she signed off on all the fake security bills. They had no idea the CIA was using their HOA as an ambush. The next week, Sycamore Ridge was peaceful. No patrol, no tickets, no HOA meeting. The board resigned en masse, and neighbors stood in bewildered silence while federal agents loaded boxes from the community center. Leah disappeared again, officially vacationing. But I knew better. She'd done what she always did, protected her people from enemies who hid in the most unlikely of places. This time, though, not abroad, but in our own community. 2 weeks after that, I got a letter from the Department of Justice. Inside was a check, a refund of every bogus HOA fee we'd ever paid, and then doubled. Restitution, it said, how karma works. And Carter? The last I knew, he tried to cut a deal, trading names of other community cops in other parts of the country running similar scams. The agency rejected, because, as Leah had explained to me that last morning at home, he should have kept his hand away from the gun. That HOA badge might have convinced the neighbors next door, but no one at CIA. least of all my daughter.